Today, Crystal of Atlan dropped a video showcasing all the available skills for Mystrix that we are getting at 10th of July. I've been multiple pinged to watch this video and react on the skills. So, for those that haven't done their research about Mystrix on the China server, let's go ahead and see what we are getting.
This is my stage, Well then.
Damn, what is that, bro?
Oh my god, what an intro. Holy moly, man. Right after a proper intro, we are back to view your skills. Let me move my face because I think you can't read descriptions over there. Here it's actually better. I can look down. Yeah. It feels weird to be up here. Anyway, starting off with shotgun uppercut. Transform the weapon case into a shotgun and fire at the enemy to knock them into the air. Alright, a very simple skill, probably one of the first that you will get. Scorching brand. Transform the weapon case into a sniper rifle and fires a burning grenade ahead, dealing AoE damage and scorching enemies. Probably we're gonna deal with a pyro element, I guess. Oh, that's actually interesting. Alright, I like the animation. Probably a PvP skill, I assume, and it seems it has a decent range, but it's very flashy and I like that. I'm really curious how some of your skills, like this one, might react when you cast those skills from the air. But it seems really interesting. Right, next one, Wings of Destruction. Alright. Generate Wings of Light. AoE damage and you gain 2 stacks of weapon charge after casting. So probably we have to deal with some specific passive. I will be honest, I haven't done research on the China server, so I don't lose my hype. Better, you know, to see things from the global perspective and don't kill my hype, because when something new comes out, I want, you know, to check it out directly within the global market, let's say. So I will test here after we get here. Didn't felt the need, you know, to go on the China server and test the class. We will have plenty of time to see how C reacts on the global PvP as well. Alright. This one was an interesting skill, pulling landmine. If no enemy triggers the mine, it will explode after 10 seconds delay, so that stays on the ground. Another decent PvP skill, it seems. Enemies affected by the explosion will be briefly pulled in, and you gain 1 stack of weapon charge after casting that skill. This is also a very interesting skill for PvP. Alright, I like the animation of that. Shadow Strike Bolt. Transform them. She actually transformed her case into a motorcycle, sorry, and does forward gathering enemies within it. So she also pulls the enemies with that flashy cast. Right, interesting. Ooh, Rotary Strike. Transform the weapon case into floating cannons that serve as wings of light, gathering enemies around you before sending you into the air. She has a lot of pulls. That's sweet. I don't know the range of those pulls. Gathered enemies will also be knocked airborne and you also send them in the air. She seems really interesting so far. Alright, finally a range skill. Transform the weapon case into a shotgun and rapidly fire ahead upon gaining sufficient weapon charge. So this is probably the weapon charge like every class has, you know, in the middle. Something goes on and as you charge, something will happen. The Mystrix unleashes Gunfire Bloom, transforming the weapon case into a pistol to unleash a barrage of firepower ahead. A decent skill with decent range. Alright. Transform the weapon case into a motorcycle and swiftly slide in a circle ahead, gathering enemies within the area. Another pull. Alright. This is very interesting. So many pulls. And I like the range and the radius of the skills. Oh, she has a grab. Okay. That's one of the main factors. Alright, she might be really good on PvP. Because it's actually a grab, right? Yeah, it's a grab. And the enemy remains on the air for some seconds, so I see the potential there. Symphony of Fate. This is a soft animation, doesn't do anything spectacular. Right, it's a actually it does. It's a range beam, and it seems the range is actually good. Yeah, it seems. Look behind the dummy. I feel like look at the range behind the dummy, right? It's like the gunners, probably the skill that the gunners have. Maybe similar range, as I can see, you know, behind the dummy. It seems like. Oh my god. Okay. Well, you know, many classes seems good on paper, but in real action, you never know. Whoa. Is this an ultimate? Transform your weapon case into a shotgun and quickly move forward, while floating cannons fire around you in coordination. And you also gain additional stacks of weapon charge. This skill is actually really good. And look at the lasers. Okay, I believe, because she's already out of animation, that you might, you know, dodge mid-cast and the lasers will pop off even if you do something else. Cast another skill, you know, moving. Because if you guys notice, after this skill, she goes off animation. So probably you can fade cast, dodge, and the second pop probably will appear. Seems, what the crap is this? Night Slide Concerto. Let's view it first. What the? Whoa. What the fuck was that? Probably that's an ultimate, right? Transform the weapon case into a motorcycle and start charging up with a burnout, gathering enemies in a wide range. So another pull. So how many pulls does she have? Enter different riding stance based on the duration charged. Number 1, if cast when not fully charged, you can freely ride the motorcycle around. Okay, so if you fully charge it, the motorcycle goes to your opponent, but if you don't, you can move around with your motorcycle, as we saw on the second part of the animation, like she did over here. Yes, like she moves over here. Okay. She has very interesting skills. And you can press the skill again to jump backwards and fire a shot with your sniper rifle, dismounting early while gaining 2 additional stacks of weapon charge. And at full charge, as we saw, perform a wheeling and charge forward to continuously grind enemies with the front wheel. Okay. If you press the skill again to jump backwards and fire a shot with your sniper rifle, dismounting early while gaining 2 additional stacks. So you can dismount in both situations. And after you dismount, you do this sniper shot with the backflip, and you also get your do you get the the 2 additional stacks of weapon charge. Okay, the longer you ride, the shorter the motorcycle lasts after dismounting. Right, this is a very interesting skill. I want to believe that was an ultimate, because it's gonna be very broken for PvP. Polyphony Eternal Joy. Alright, girl. That skill was crazy. I want to see again the polyphony. Okay, we are here. Polyphony, Eternal Joy. And again, enemies in a circular area will be gathered before the afterimages crash down on them. Already counting like 10 pulls, unleashing a devastating electromagnetic explosion. And you gain 4 stacks of weapon charge after casting. Alright. Next one. Chill out, girl. Chill out, girl. That's skill. And you can also move. Holding down the skill allows you to freely move the attack direction. And after releasing, the attack locks on and cannot be changed again. Alright, so if you do move, if you move along with your laser and you lock down the opponent, you cannot change again the direction of the attack. Okay, seems fair, I guess, because it's kinda broken. Moving along with your laser, all the lasers that we have so far, like from Blade Maiden and what else, it's called the Cloud Striker. Well, Cloud Striker technically with the blue transition, she can let the beam and she can also move, so probably, yeah, this might be from Cloud Striker the strongest laser, as you can put it in place and go away. Sonata of Casualty. Sonata of Causality. Transform the weapon case into a sniper rifle, enter and focus sniping mode, allowing you to freely aim and fire at enemies by pressing the skill or basic attack button. You can fire up to 4 shots with this skill. Right. This is also interesting. And you can do up to 4 shots. Oh my god. Alright. Now I can understand why everyone will play here. The fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Area Stellar French. Activate Overclock on your weapon case, then ascend into the air and unleash devastating firepower on the battlefield, destroying everything in sight. Well. Gain 5 stack of weapon charge after casting. Alright. She seems very interesting with a lot of potential as it comes to PvP. As I can tell, but you know, keep that with a grain of salt, because you never know how actual characters react in terms of gameplay. They seem good on paper, but in real action, I guess we have to see. And I'm not gonna say about, you know, China tier lists and stuff, because our market, especially on our servers, Europe and A, and even Asia, the meta is always different. As I've seen, for example, on our servers, gunners are top notch. I've noticed from some videos out there from fellow content creators that berserkers, for example, are in the top slots as it comes to PvP, which in my perspective it was kinda weird, but maybe they know something that we don't. Anyway, that was everything as it comes to Mystrix skills. She seems really strong. I probably won't value so much the class until, you know, we've tested the class and we see from other players as well how they will build around here and how much damage can they actually achieve on the PvE rankings and stuff. But I'm pretty sure most of the people are pretty hyped about her. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya!